Busy living sober, busy living sober, busy living sober. Welcome. It's episode 454. If you're back, good to see you. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad everybody's here and tuning in today to episode 454, where I'm going to talk about the sense of community and where we get that in the world and how important it is. It, first I want to say this. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to my channel. Please go to my Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/busy living sober and sign up for my membership. And you're going to get some extra things that not everybody gets, but it's a way for me to actually support my whole entire podcast and what I'm doing with everything. So I would love your support. So please subscribe. Just go click yes to subscribing on YouTube and sign up for my newsletter. It will come right into your inbox on Fridays. And please subscribe to my Patreon. Again, I promise you, you won't regret it. So today's topic, again, is a sense of community. It's been interesting. I was a big member of 12-step up until about maybe 8 months ago. And just something happened, and I don't know if I can really put my finger on it, if it's that I've been in this for 17 years and it was like, oh my gosh, I've had enough. I just need to take a step back for a little bit. I'm not closing the door forever. I still go to meetings every once in a while, but I used to be like totally immersed in the 12-step program. And it was like what I ate, breathed, it was everything to me. And it gave me my sobriety. It didn't give me my sobriety. God gave me my sobriety, but it gave me a sense of community, which I've heard from so many other life coaches and from so many different people that I hold in some major respect for, have talked about what the sense of community does for us. They even have said that if you are a member of a community, you have a chance of living longer. Does that make sense? I think it does. Knowing that you have people behind you and that you have a core, that you have a foundation that you can take from is so important, I think. And for me, again, I found I still have, a person I work with all the time. I'm so grateful for, and and I talk to her all the time, and she is like my fellow traveler and can help guide me when I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do next? I want God to show me what to do next, but sometimes she doesn't give me a burning bush, that's for sure, or an arrow that comes out and says, go this way, and your life's going to be beyond your wildest dreams. And I always have wanted that. I've always wanted to know, do this, do that, and everything's going to be amazing. And because God gave us the choice to make decisions on whether we're going to do this or that, we get to make decisions, right? And sometimes my decisions in hindsight are like, why did I make that decision? But I think we grow from that, right? We all grow from our decisions. And I feel like, especially the ones that are harder and are more challenging, are definitely, I go back and go, oh my gosh, I regret this or I regret that. And when I got sober, I had so many regrets. I had so much shame. And I know that a lot of people that have written to me recently have mentioned that same thing, that they're like, oh my gosh, I've got to make it through this. Um, and that they wish that they could go back and not be an alcoholic. They wish that, and I like to say this, that they wish they could go back to being a cucumber, but they're already a pickle. So what are they going to do? And getting to the sense of like who I am and admitting who we are inside of our bodies is like so important, becoming authentic with who we are and not being ashamed of it. Yesterday I went and I met with some people and I was totally transparent with who I am and what I believe. And somebody looked at me and he said, wow, you're so courageous for coming in here and saying this. And for your honesty. He thanked me for my honesty and my candor. And I feel like I have to be honest and I have to be authentic or I can't be real, right? I can't be who I am. I can't sit here and come on this podcast and say, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and not be who I really am and look in the mirror and be able to look at what I see and know maybe sometimes I don't like all the bumps. I don't like all the lumps. I definitely don't like the lines, just going to be honest. Um, but they're there. And I'm 55 years old, so I have to have lines in my face, and God forbid, I do love sitting in the sun. So I embrace all of those. But all of it, I have to embrace all of it. The things I've done in the past that I'm not proud of, I have to admit those things. I have to sit with them. I have to talk to, another human being about them. It's when I got sober and they talked about doing a four-step, I felt like, gosh, that was like the whole community sense, right? So I went into this 12-step room and I was there with a lot of people and I raised my hand and said, "Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm an alcoholic." And, people came up to me and gave me their phone numbers and talked to me. And it was amazing. And it made me not feel so alone. I think when we do sobriety by ourselves, I think if we do anything by ourselves without like some form of like a group, sense of community, it becomes so lonely. And I know during COVID, it was like the first thing that everybody took away was the sense of like, here's your community. They said, nope, no more community for you. Can't go out and meet people at your church. Can't go meet people at your synagogue. Can't go meet people at your mosque. Can't go meet people in an AA meeting. You can't do any of those things. You have to stay in your house. You have to stay fearful and you have to be there. Well, here we are 4 years later, and so many people still have that sense of fear. And you get it. It's all over the media if you watch the news, which I tend not to. Glance at it, but I can't stare at it anymore because it's too crazy. I have to know in my heart what is right for me. I think all of us have to get to that place, like knowing in our heart what is right for us. It might not be what society says is right because they want you to do this or that. They want you to have your lips done. They want you to have your face taken in. They want you to, drink all the time. It's what all these housewives like do all the time is drink, 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 drink. Um, and but it's getting clear with who you are and what you want. And if everybody in your neighborhood isn't doing it, but you want to do it, it's still okay. And you can find a group of people that will do what you want to do. For me, it's been funny because for so long, I was an Episcopalian. I went to the Episcopal Church and I was totally immersed in my Episcopal church up north and I loved it, loved every minute of it. And then I came to Florida and it was hard to find my right group, but I never gave up and I never gave up. And now I'm like a member of the church down the street, St. Vincent's. It's a Catholic church and I love it. And I'm getting involved and I get to give back, which feels so good. I'm like, whatever you need me to do. Do you want me to go talk to, people that are going through recovery? If you want me to talk to people that are in retirement homes and need somebody to talk to, whatever you need me to do. Do you want me to serve coffee on Sundays? Whatever you want me to do, I am available. Just tell me when. Isn't that what we all are looking for? When you feel like you're needed, that you're wanted, that you are not like I don't want to say worthless, but that you're giving back. It feels so amazing to help another human being is such a humongous gift. It's just I remember again going to meetings and that was like the first time in the 12 steps that I actually went to a place where you like reached out your hand. It didn't matter who you were, what you voted, what kind of car you drove. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter about anything. You just went and you just shook somebody's hand. And that was the first place I really felt like, wow, there's a sense of community here. It doesn't matter how you vote. It doesn't matter any of that stuff. It just matters that you want to help another person and being loving and kind. And for me, it's hard. It is hard for me to sometimes open my heart. I'm just being honest. For so long, I don't know why I felt like this, but I felt like, oh my gosh, why am I feeling like my heart sometimes closes? And I know why today. It's because I've been hurt, right? So when we're hurt, we close everything up, right? We don't want anybody to hurt us. We're like, oh my gosh, close up our heart, close up everything. I'm just going to go inside. Everybody's hurt me. I don't want to be hurt anymore. It's kind of like a turtle. He goes back into his shell and he says, you know what? I don't want to come out anymore. Everybody's hurting me. I don't want to be hurt. It hurts so much because we care what other people think and we care what our families think and we care what what everybody around us thinks more sometimes than we think about ourselves. But we go and we get hurt and we say, no, I'm not opening my heart anymore. I've been hurt so much. Drinking was like the answer when I was so hurt. Cause right? Cause I could go and I could drink and then all that pain went away because I was drinking. I was getting inebriated. I was getting this sense of like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. But I wasn't okay. I was scared. I closed off. I closed my heart. I closed everything. And I just walked for a long time, many years. I can tell you many years I walked and never had my heart open. I pretended. I pretended. My kids are what, oh my gosh, this computer is, I just looked over and there's like fireworks going off and all this crazy stuff. I have no idea why it's doing that, but that's kind of weird. Anyway, that was so weird. It had thumbs up and fireworks. I was just glanced at my computer because I'm doing this actually on a camera now instead of on my computer camera. So I glanced over and there it was. My dog Lily, by the way, is snoring and it's driving me crazy. Lily, I have to call Lily. No more snoring. Did you guys hear her? Oh my gosh, it was like, stop snoring. Um, but back to opening my heart, it's like I pray every day, God, please open my heart. 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 And I just get into this thing inside me that I want to be able to be vulnerable again. I don't want to be as stoic as I was for so long. I didn't have any trust. So I went to this place of like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to trust you because you're going to hurt me. So I'm going to close myself off. I'm not going to trust you because you're going to turn me. It's just like, I didn't want to trust anybody. It didn't matter who, because every time I felt like I opened my heart, it got slammed in my face. It was like, no, no, it hurt so much. And so then you get to this place where you're like, I'm not going to be open anymore. I'm not going to make myself vulnerable. In fact, I'm going to fill my body with this liquid alcohol, this spirit, so that I feel okay. So it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. I can be numb. I don't have to feel pain. I don't have to feel sorrow. I can be okay. But it was all a lie. Because every time I woke up the next morning, I was still in this place of fear, but now there's more fear because I've hurt somebody else. I've said something else that I didn't want to say. I have to go back and I have to make amends to people and I have to be authentic, but I didn't want to do that either. So what did I do? I went climbed back into my shell and then I'd come out when I had my booze. And my booze gave me the ability to be okay, but it was a lie. It was all a lie. I'm talking to you guys as like somebody who has whatever amount of years without alcohol, but it doesn't matter. I still feel like I'm brand new. I still feel like I'm learning so much, and I am. I'm a searcher. I'm always looking. I always want to feel better. And there's so many things that are out of my control today. So many things. When my kids were younger, it seemed like I had much more control, right? I could tell them what to eat, what to wear, what to do, and they did it because they had to, because I was their mom. And then they grow up and they make their own choices. And some of their choices are really painful. And you have to sit here and you have to accept them. And it's really hard because for me, especially, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I got to own it for me. I want to go in and I want to fix it and I want to take responsibility and I want to be, it's my fault. So I'm going to beat myself up. Why my kids don't talk to me. I'm going to beat myself up and I'm going to try and say, what did I do? What did I do? And then I'm going to keep knocking at this closed door and be like, please let me in again. Please let me in again. And they don't let me in. And it hurts. It hurts so much. We're living in a time where there's so much pain around us. There's so much darkness around us. There's so much. And there's so many places that I see that I'm powerless. Which brings me back to the beginning when I first was getting sober, being powerless over alcohol was something I could identify. I could identify being outside of a bar and saying to myself, I'm only going to have one dirty martini, only one. And then waking up in the morning after having 47 and going, oh my gosh, what did I do? Who did I hurt? What did I say? But the longer, actually, from the beginning, somebody pointed out to me, not only am I powerless over alcohol, I'm powerless over everything, powerless over everything. I'm powerless over what my kids are going to do. I'm powerless over what my husband's going to do. I'm powerless over what my neighbors are going to do. I'm powerless over what my family's going to do. I'm powerless over everything. What do I have power over? Getting up in the morning and praying. I'm saying the rosary more often than I ever have. I never said the rosary before in my life ever. And it's given me such peace. It's like meditating it, you know? It's meditating 50 Hail Marys a day. I think it's 6 Our Fathers, 5 or 6 Glory Bees. It's been amazing, coming back to this, having more God. Because I have to tell you, like, the more God I have, the less I worry about Elizabeth and all this other stuff. The less I worry about my kids because guess what? I give them to God. I can't do anything about it. I can't force them to pick up a phone. I can't force them to want to be around me. It's really hard. I'm going to tell you, I was at a wedding this past weekend and I was sitting there, and the gentleman that was sitting next to me, he's, a little bit younger than I am. And he's like, I talked to somebody a long time ago and they said the better parent you are, if you're a really good parent, then your kids want to hang out with you all the time when they're adults. So I'm sitting there. He has no idea what my story is, right? No idea. He's had a couple cocktails at least. And he's saying this to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have one child out of 3 that wants to hang out with me, the other 2 not so much, and I must not have been a good parent. Wow, that hurt. That hurt, and I laughed because I don't wanna cry, and I hear that, and I'm like, "But I know I tried to do my best." Like, I tried to do my best like all of you out there listening do. We all try to do our best. We all try. I tried to take them to church. I tried to give them whatever they needed. I tried to do all these things. But the outcome, I could never have told you was gonna be like this. If you had told me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, my life would be like this, I'd be like, "There's no way." But here I am. And rather than having the shame of what had happened and where I am today, I need to say, "Okay, this is where I am." Take it for what it is without the emotion, right? Without the sadness, without all the adjectives I could throw in here of how I'm feeling, and just look at it for this is how I am. Well, what am I going to do? Where am I going to find my sense of community so I don't feel alone? Because if I sit here and I just do me and I don't help somebody else, I stay sick, right? But if I can go walk, go join something, whatever it is that you want to join that's out there that you will find that in your heart's been calling you to join, but for whatever reason you haven't gone and done it, go do it. If it's a 12-step room, if it's church, if it's meditation, whatever it is for you that you find important for you, that you go to that and you take and you decide to become part of a community, do it. Because if we're by ourselves, we can't grow. We can't grow by ourselves. We can't help another person if we're sitting in our houses all by ourselves, feeling sorry for ourselves. Having a pity party is very difficult. Having a pity party is like, "Oh my gosh, nobody wants to come. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to be part of it." I'm so sorry. Something was just delivered and everybody's going crazy here. Hear the dog. Shh. Shh. Mommy's doing a podcast. Shh. 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 Now Penelope, my 13-year-old golden doodle, cannot stop barking. Okay, now you go to back to bed. There she goes. back to my train of thought, what I was talking about. Oh, but getting to that sense of community. So if you get to a place of where you're a member of something, I don't even care if it's like whatever it is, helping somebody at the Wawa, holding the door open, or going and visiting somebody at a retirement community in your area and just going and sitting with them and saying hi and just talking is so amazing. It's the connection that's so important. Finding connection, finding the ability to help somebody else helps you get out of you. You don't think about you if you're helping somebody else. There's no help. We don't have, it's amazing that when we help somebody else, we get out of our head. We get into helping the other person. We get into listening to what the other person is saying instead of what our head is telling us, which is insanity most of the time. We're no good. We're a loser. All these other adjectives I can say. We've got every reason to feel shame because if you had your life, look at your kids don't even talk to you. You should be a loser. I don't want to feel like that. And I don't want to go and turn to alcohol to say, okay, I'm going to go put this in me so I feel okay. That's not going to give me, that's not the answer anymore. I'm already a pickle. I can't go back to putting alcohol in my body so that I feel okay because it's not going to work. It doesn't work anymore. So what will work? Where am I going to find the peace and serenity? For me personally, it's going to church. I just feel like, and maybe it's because I've always had church since I was a little girl. I love the tradition. I've said this many times in the podcast before. I love the tradition of going into church, getting quiet, getting on my knees, surrendering, asking for help. And then I turn and I say, how can I help somebody else? Do you need anybody's help? Do you need a volunteer? Can I volunteer somewhere? It was so brilliant when I first started going to the 12 steps, 12 step meetings. And, a long time ago, this is the only thing that's really going to date me. So when I was first getting sober, one of the main jobs was cleaning out the ashtrays and sweeping the floors and cleaning the coffee cups and making the coffee. And these jobs were being a greeter. Like it didn't matter how much time had. You could have like 2 days and be the greeter, be like, "Hi, welcome to the meeting. Can I help you? I'm so glad you're here." And it gave you a job. It gave you a purpose. We all have a purpose. We all have abilities to help other people. We all have abilities to walk out the door and say, you know what? I'm going to go help somebody else today. I'm feeling so jammed up inside of myself. I'm feeling so selfish, self-centered in pity party and pity party and pity party. And instead of like keep going with that, staying in my house and going down that dirty rabbit hole, I got to get up, I got to get out, and I got to help somebody else. That's where joy comes from. Joy doesn't really come from going and buying a handbag, maybe a minute of joy, but real joy comes from going and helping another human being, helping somebody else, getting out of your own way, making yourself available, giving somebody a hug. I'm a hugger. So, whenever I meet somebody new, we're going to walk away. I'm like, can I give you a hug? Because I'm just a hugger. And I just love that sense of giving somebody a hug. And I don't know if it's selfish or if it's just because it feels so good to hug another human being and say, I hope you have a great day, rather than a nod or a wave. It's more of a hug. It's that human contact. We've all missed that human contact. We need a hug. We need love. We need compassion. There's always somebody out there that is dealing with something that is way bigger than what you're dealing with. There's always somebody who has it a little bit worse than you do today. And being able to go and show up for that person without judgment, without preconceived notions, without all the stuff we carry around, to be able just to be there and listen to somebody, to be able to hear another person and say, I hear you. I hear you. And sometimes you don't have to say anything else. Sometimes people are going through such hard things that there are no words. And just being there and holding their hand and looking them in the eye and say, you're not by yourself. I get it. This is hard. This is hard. And I'm here to hold your hand and I'm here to give you a hug and tell you it's going to get better. I promise. Nothing lasts forever. But getting around others is where it's going to come. It's not going to come by sitting by yourself and feeling sorry for yourself and isolating. That keeps us sick. We wonder why so many kids are mentally ill right now. We wonder why so much is going on because all they want to do is keep us separate and keep us in our homes and tell us what to do. I don't want to be told what to do. I want to be able to go out and be with other humans. God made us to be with each other. He didn't make us to be sitting at home by ourselves on a computer, having chats with people on the internet and watching people on social media. Get out of your house and go find that other human being. Don't go just watch where everybody's going and go, oh my gosh, they're so lucky they get to go there. You get to go there too, by the way. You can make your own fun, but you need to find your community. You can't do it by yourself. Nobody's going to come knocking at your door and going, oh, I hear you sit by yourself all the time. Do you want to come sit with us? No, you have to go out there and you've got to take that first step, as scary as it is. But you can find your people. You don't have to feel alone. You don't have to feel isolated. Going and joining this church down the street. Some people may say I'm crazy. Some people may be like, oh my gosh, she's God. She loves God. Oh my God. It's okay. You can judge me all you want. It's where I need to be for me. And as long as I sat in this house for almost a year, knowing that church was right down the street, and for whatever reason, I was keeping myself isolated, I didn't want to go over there. All these yucky feelings in my head, all these lies kept coming up. Some people say that those dark lies are the devil, right? It's the darkness. But the reality was I was scared. I didn't want to go over there. I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to go put myself out there again. I'd been hurt so many times. I don't want to do it again. But I had to do it again. And the joy I feel today is something that I want to share with everybody. Like, don't be scared. I get it. You're scared, but just keep going, keep walking. Don't let your head keep you inside your house. Don't let the negative thoughts keep you inside. Get out there. Get busy living sober. Just get busy living sober. Reality, get busy. Don't sit at home. And I don't mean busy like you can't stop all day long because I've been to that too. And where we are with where we are with my camera just died. Sorry, you guys. There we go. Where we get to is where we're meant to be. So get out of your house. Go do something for you. Go make yourself a little vulnerable. It's okay. And go help somebody else. I promise you, you won't regret it. I promise you. That's enough for me. I'm going to shut up now. And I just want to say this again. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to my channel. Please share with your friends. Go to my Patreon, www.patreon.com/Bizzy Living Sober. And subscribe to my YouTube channel and go to my website, elizabethchance.com, and sign up for my newsletter, which will come into your inbox every Friday. And also, if you have any questions, you want to reach out to me, please reach me at Elizabeth, ELIZABETH, at elizabethchance.com. And Chance is CHANCE. So Elizabeth at elizabethchance.com is my email. And I promise I will respond to you right away. So until next time, everybody, keep getting busy, living. Bye, everybody. Take care. Bye.